make it live. What's up, fam? Getting on there real quick, about to talk to DC Denim Hangs, and let's talk about some DC stories. It's going to be pretty cool. Okay. Let's get situated. Waiting for Mike to get on here. Yo! What up, Evan? Waiting for Mike to get on here from DC Denim Hangs, and we're just going to have a nice conversation. Because, and you'll hear more in the discussion about why DC has a special part for CMBD, because it's kind of the area that not only my wife and I got a chance to really just grow together as a couple, get married, but also to birth, or really the follow through of C. There we go. Okay, we had some. What up, Big Calvin? Okay, all right. DC Denim Hangs. All right, I'm about to add you in there. Come on. Stop smacking me. Stop hitting me. Boom. Here we go. Huh? Uncle Calvin's on here, boy. There he is.
What's going on, man?
Oh, good. How you doing?
I'm all right. I see you got the little one.
Oh, yeah. Hangs out with me all the time, man. If it's not him, it's our daughter on my hip. And, I mean, this is how it goes, man. Like, I was the same thing with my parents, so, it's good.
You guys run a true family operation, if there ever was.
It really is. And then, come here, lady, so you can say hi to Mike. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
There you go.
How old are you? Where'd you go?
Huh? I'm talking to you. How old are you?
4 years old.
Whoa.
Hey, what up, Tommy? I see Tommy came on too. James Dent. Yeah, man. So appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us and chat, and I don't know, shed some light on your inspiration, your time in DC, where you were before that. It's been great just seeing all the engagement going off of this being our first conversation with the Denim Hang, and so it's great. And we decided to start with DC because that was kind of the place that kind of birthed the launching of CMBD, and we spent like 6 years there. And so we're just excited, man. So before we get started into like some questions and just wherever the questions go, further engagement and conversation. So tell everybody who you are, where you're from, where you're currently at, and what you do.
Yeah. Well, first I'll just say, pleasure's all mine. I was really excited when you reached out. I'm probably, for the people on, I'm probably like the least well known of the people you've talked to. So everyone's jumping on right now, like, who is this guy?
No, that's all good, man.
A little bit.
There go Natalie. Okay.
Hey, Natalie. So Natalie, for those you don't know, is here in DC, not too far away from me. So, my name is Mike, and I'm located in Northern Virginia. For those of you who are connected to me in some way on Instagram, it's I'm at Grit and Kin, but I also sort of run the account for DC Denim Hangs. So I'm originally from Missouri. St. Louis area is where I grew up, spent most of my life. My wife and I relocated out into Northern Virginia like 4 years ago or so now. And been it here and trying to just trying to figure out life and do my thing here. And I know we sort of got connected through Denim, I think right before you moved. Probably, I think I might have talked to you, chatted with you a little bit, probably like, I don't know, maybe like the week you guys were moving out or something.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh, I just got here. And
yeah, it was crazy, because I think the week before, my wife was already here in Illinois.
Okay.
And I was still back because I was stationed in Arlington. And then we had just left a pop-up in Boston. And so I was dealing with that, the pop-up in Boston, traveling up there, coming back, getting all the gear, getting all the product, as well as the stuff that still needed to be moved, and driving to Illinois. So it was bananas.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we like it here a lot so far. We've got a little one, a little bit older than the one you got in your lap now. She's creeping up on 2, kind of right in between your 2, and so that keeps us really, really busy.
Yeah.
We're really fortunate, with everything going on, COVID and whatnot. My wife and I both work from home, so we're able to do that, and everyone's healthy and otherwise I'll keep saying little one, but our daughter's name is Margot. And so just like seeing Margot do all these little things every day that otherwise I would have missed a lot of.
Right.
So yeah, that's I don't know, me in a nutshell, I guess.
That's awesome, man. So what's your wife's name again?
Carol.
Carol. Okay.
Yeah. So if you think the Brady Bunch, Mike and Carol.
That's awesome, man. And how long have you guys been married?
So we got married in 2015, just before we, I guess a little under a year before we moved out here. We're in Bedford, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is out kind of near, I don't know how familiar you are with greater Virginia, but it's sort of between Lynchburg and Roanoke.
Okay. Yep.
Where kind of around where her mom lives in the mountains, and about a year later we moved out this way and in Northern Virginia to kind of be closer to her family.
Right. That's awesome, man. So why did you move to the DC area, DC, Virginia, Maryland? What prompted that move?
So we were both living in St. Louis. Like I said, I'm from there, and my wife was there for grad school. We met just before she graduated, and she luckily for me, she stuck around because she certainly had better prospects, I'm sure. But I lucked out and I kind of tricked her to sticking around a little bit. And we were both working full-time jobs and kind of hanging out in St. Louis. And she's really, really close to her family. And she grew up in spent first part of her childhood in Arlington area, and then the second part in Fauquier County out in Warrenton. She just jumped on, actually. Hi, Carol.
Hey, Carol. How you doing?
You feel free to correct any of my stories. And then, so she's from here. She's really close to her family and had been away for, probably 5 or so years. And I was working a job that, I wasn't super excited about. And, and she had a job that was great and in her field and all that, but neither of us were, felt like we just needed to be doing what we were doing at the time. And, and so we, one day we were just chatting and kind of like, well, would you want to just move this summer? And it was kind of the slow time of year for me at work, or would have been. And, she was working at a school, so it had been a little bit of a break there. And, we moved, man. So, headed out. Neither of us had jobs lined up here, but since her family was here, we were able to come and just stay with them for a little bit while we were finding the jobs before we moved in the spot. And that's what brought us out, was family.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you, Carol. The baby, he loves everything denim, and he's surrounded by it. So, and this is a question for you and Carol, since she's on right now.
Yeah.
So, what type of inspiration did Carol give you? Any inspiration, or where did you gain inspiration for coming to DC, finding the area? I don't know if you had some friends or some networks in DC already, but what prompted you to feel that need for DC denim hangs?
Well, I don't know if Carol has anything on that, but so I moved out here, and I have a really, really close friend in DC. But you know how it is out here, for anyone who's not from the area, you don't have to live terribly far mileage-wise away from someone for it to feel like you live really far, because traffic is no quick way to get anywhere. So, and at the time we were...
Hey, what's up, Ty? I had nothing to do with it. Mike is... You know, Carol, and he tries to play himself low like he's not. So that's why I want to hear where this inspiration came from for DC Denim Hanks, because it's an awesome community. I mean, if you saw the engagement on IG today, people reposting, people talking about it, and just it takes people back. I know Tyrus is on right now. His Instagram is care of. So he was a big part of the beginning stages of finalizing CMBD, the fit. And so there's a huge network out there, and you have built the platform. So yeah, we want to hear more about. I'm sorry, we want to hear more about that.
No, that's all good. I'm happy to hear all about what you know, the history, because I don't know, I haven't been out here that long. So, but yeah, so we moved out here, and at the time when we moved out, we were living in Fauquier County. So it was even further away from DC than we are currently. Not really. I don't know if we really consider that part of Virginia. Probably not. And I didn't know anybody. You know, I knew her immediate family, and we moved out. And I said she found a job before I did, so I didn't have any work. And I've always been into kind of vintage picking and hunting and thrifting.
Yeah.
So I would fill some of my free time just doing a little bit of that. And
right.
And I think that some of that really is what brought me into denim. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't hip to salvage or raw denim or anything like that. I just liked vintage clothes and old workwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when we eventually moved a little closer to DC, and again, I still just didn't really know anyone. I had that one friend in DC. I was realizing, you know, people I don't think realize how hard, or maybe you do, I'm not sure, how hard it is to make friends as an adult male. Like, when you can't. It's not like you don't go to someone's house and just ask if they can come out and play. It doesn't work that way anymore, right? So, what is she saying?
Yeah, she's blowing you up. That's the next question. Go ahead.
So I didn't know anybody, and I had kind of found my way in from, like a lot of people do, into denim. I found my way there kind of from vintage, and
right.
That's kind of around the time when I think some of the denim hang stuff started to pop up. So
right.
LA Denim Hangs was already doing their thing, and then I think UK Denim Hangs was out there.
Right.
New York just hit, and so I thought, well, you know, there's got to be a community in DC. You know, I've found a couple people on Instagram who are kind of into the thing, and maybe, you know, it was kind of a self-serving thing. I always, you know, I like community and all that, but
right.
Part of it was just like I wanted to meet people, and I didn't know of another great way to do that. So I'd actually called Eric up there in New York, with Fitted Underground, and chatted with him a little bit about his experience starting it up there. He encouraged me, told me kind of what it was like for him, and I think that day I kind of created the handle and just kind of started reaching out to people, and I don't know, 4 or 5 months later, we had our first hang, and the rest was history. It's great.
Man, that's awesome. You know, and I think I don't remember if it was your first hang or not. It was because you reached out. This is along the times when we were just beginning to communicate, and you mentioned, "Hey, are you going to be available for the hang, or can you at least just, you know, give us some words or some just a video or something?" Was that your first hang?
That was the first hang. It was it was in the winter. It was like late January, early February, something like that.
Yeah. Because I was flying back from somewhere, traveling for the brand, for denim or something, and it was awesome. So so thank you for reaching out to us for that. And you were
like one of the first people I thought of too, because I only knew of a few people, right? Like, didn't know a lot of people. I'm not an Instagram wizard, but I had already come across. I think I was already following you before I started the hang. So you're like the first person that I was like, if I can get Charles, oh man, this is gonna be
thank you, man. Like, just and you know, and Natalie, feel free to jump in because I see you on here. So it wasn't a lot of shops. And Ty, if you're still on here too, jump in. It wasn't a lot of denim shops in like the immediate metropolitan area of DC, if you will. So like Pentagon City, Arlington, Alexandria. So on Pentagon Road was Denim Bar, which was awesome. It was Redeem on 14th Street. They had some denim pieces in there. And there was another spot on 14th Street. I can't remember the name. It's escaping right now. Natalie, please, if you remember, put it in the chat. But it wasn't, and that's what I'm tracking. It wasn't, from what I remember, a big denim scene. And so that was, it was a challenge for us. Just kind of launching it in DC. I mean, you had a handful of people. You had a small community that was from, and this is again who we were exposed to, who was open and into raw denim. Natalie put it on there.
Natalie's young, man.
Natalie, you are.
She's a young.
Yeah, I forget the shop's name, but it did close. It did close. But there wasn't a big stance on raw denim. And so with these different communities, like these dinner communities or these walk communities or whatever, it was nice to see someone start a denim community because it's needed. It was so many people that I've talked to in DC that he's like, we need this in the area. I mean, Northern Virginia, I get it. There's some spots out there, and further into Virginia there is. I mean, Withered Fig, Richard, that's Northern Virginia. You know what I mean? And but immediate in DC, there's not a lot, and so.
And the Red Wing store closed in DC. Filson closed down in DC.
Yep.
And there's some stuff in Northern Virginia. I know Fairfax has a massive Red Wing store.
Yeah.
And then there are some like smaller boutique shops popping up that, hey, how are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, we do need more local denim shops.
But yeah, there's a bunch of small kind of boutique places that carry a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But yeah, there's not a sort of a dedicated denim store or a dedicated like.
So when you do the hangs and they come together, where are these people coming from for the hangs? I mean, are they coming from everywhere or what? And like, how was your first hang?
That's kind of the coolest part. One of the coolest parts of the experience for me so far has been, the denim scene in DC, right, is not massive like we're talking about. There's not a bunch of shops, a lot of things just immediately supporting it in that area. But see, so Emily just said she's from West Virginia, something I was going to get to. She, a small-ish community, but we, at least from my experience so far, but we really pull from a pretty large area. So the very first thing was, I had no real idea what to expect. I had reached out to a couple people, so I thought there might be 4 or 5 folks around. We had a couple folks come down from Baltimore. We had people coming in from other parts of Maryland, Richmond, DC, Northern Virginia. Since then, West Virginia, people have been contacting us and reaching out, and gotten to meet Emily, who I chat with quite a bit now, and she's not really that far away from me. West Virginia is not far away from me, in Northern Virginia, and so we do serve a pretty large area. We kind of pull from a large region.
Right. And I think you're not alone there, and I think to your wife's point, Carol, it's you had a vision. You're creative. You're approachable. And I think other people had that same challenge. And how do I meet people, whether it be male or female? How do I meet people in this this field, if you will, of denim? This community. Like, it's obviously a need there, but it seems to be that the need, businesses or brands cannot meet the need where they're accepted in that area enough to be sustainable. If you will, what I mean?
I think a big issue, a difficult thing for a lot of the stores or a lot of the brands that might like to be in the area. It's such a transient area.
It is, yeah.
People don't stay sometimes for more than 2 to 4 years, right? Which also makes we don't have. We don't have probably the same the same numbers as maybe New York has or LA has, just because of the population and the interest in those areas.
Right.
you know, we've got a reliable group, but you know, we probably won't ever see a massive group, right? Because people come and go from the area so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of the nature beast out here, it seems.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, even talking about like women's wear, Tara and I have been talking about the lack of, and it's the same thing in DC. And when we launched the Lady Raw, it was our first take at a women's Raw stretch denim, cone denim. It was crazy because we sold out, and a lot of our customers were in DC because they needed it, and it was kind of business casual as it started off Raw, but then as you wore it, it came to be more of a lifestyle piece, if you will, and it was bananas, like the response we had in DC. Just the ability to go places, take pictures, just kind of build that relationship that the women had with women's wear and the need that they wanted for denim. And it boggled our mind because we weren't from DC, you know, and being there, we got there at the end of 2012. I got there first. Tara came February 2013, and we were just learning the area too. She found the Denim Bar, and that's how we got connected, kind of in that community of brand of streetwear, denim, and then we just expanded from that. You know, our relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting place to move to.
It is tough for fashion
if you don't already have kind of some connections and things. Like, you know, outside of DC Denim Hangs, I still struggle with that out here a bit, really, because all of us are pretty spread out, and it's not easy to, you know, it's not easy to drive a couple miles down the road to see one another for a beer, and some of us have families and things, right? So it's definitely still something I struggle with is connecting with folks in this area in person, just because it's a tough thing to do. People don't stay around very long, and they, you know, they move about a lot, and it's not an easy place to get around transportation wise necessarily. So and that's kind of one of the things I had thought about when I, you know, sort of was selfishly wanting to put this together, is that, you know, it's everyone else in this area that I'm not the only one thinking it, right? I'm not the only sort of vintage hound and denim enthusiast who you know, is without a strong network or without a good group of friends out in this area. You know, everyone else has to deal with the same things I deal with. They deal with the transportation. They deal with the nature of the city. So, so when you think about it like that, it's also, you know, it became a more exciting. I'm actually, give me one second. I'm going to plug my phone in because it's starting to die.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want that. And anyone who has questions, I mean, post your questions in the bottom question mark, or tell us your thoughts on what you're thinking, really, in the DC area, or Virginia area, or whatever area you're in. I mean, because there's other transient areas. I think DC is probably the most populated transient area. I mean, you have Chicago, which I don't believe it's there we go. Okay, boom. I'm glad Eric joined in. Hey, Eric, this is for you. We were just thinking about you. So the question is New York transient? No, it's not as transient as DC, but how and what kind of challenges did you face coming into creating New York Denim Hangs? And, you know, kind of, if he can just note while we're talking, you know, the challenges that you had and the chats that you had with Mike, because we're talking about how transient DC is, but how there's a community, obviously, because DC Denim Hangs is there, that wants this interaction and this engagement, and they will want these brands as well. Like, it's a hard thing for people to shop online and they can't go to the store and feel it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I mean, especially when we talk, and I know Eric will jump in on that, but, you know, especially we talk about it all the time about, you know, why there's value in spending a little bit more for these things.
Yeah.
But it is a little harder to pull the trigger online when you're you're not trying it on and you're not 100% sure, and you go, oh man, I don't know, that, $200 or whatever dollar price tag is it's a little more difficult when you're talking about a clothing item that you're not entirely sure is going to fit right or feel good, right?
Right. And because I know Eric's going to jump in.
Yeah.
So the next question. So you and I have talked about inspiration, and about denim. And Tara has heard this story so many times, and she's like, okay, this is enough. And now it's to the point where if she sees me get excited about something, she's like, I already know what it is. Like, I know what it is already and where you're going with it. And we're talking about movies, cartoon movies, that is, because we both have kids. And so how does that play a factor in inspiring you? I mean, we can see pictures on Instagram. We can see how people wear denim differently, how they cuff it, how they wash it. What inspires you from these movies? And just, kind of talk about the conversation you and I had.
Yeah. So I don't know, for me, I don't know if I'd use inspire is not a bad word. I don't know if I'd use the word inspired. I think it's, for me, it's more just been a really fun experience. So I hadn't gone back and watched, kids movies for a really long time, since I was a little kid. And now that I have a little one and who doesn't entirely know what's going on in the movies, but if we want to watch something together, I am going to throw something on that's appropriate, right? But I also put things on that I think I'm going to also enjoy, or that I enjoyed when I was younger. And then especially once, especially now that all this stuff's going on, you're just at home a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we got Disney Plus, and there's a lot to dig through in the Disney Plus world. And so I started pulling up old movies that I really enjoyed, and it's funny how it's really interesting how quickly I started connecting to some of the style from the movies I was watching. So the biggest one for me, that's not a cartoon, but it's The Sandlot.
Right.
I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but when you go back and you watch it, every one of them were just absolutely killing it style-wise.
Right.
All of them were salvage, and they had big, cuffs that were much larger than I would probably be brave enough to go with, and they all had the cuff flyers on, and really like old jerseys and old T-shirts and like old wool hats and stuff like that. And I really like that a lot. But some of the things you and I talked about, I know I threw Stuart Little on.
Yeah.
Stuart Little had some crazy cuffs, and he was looking good. Paddington Bear always fly all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more interesting. It kind of makes the movies even more fun for me, because I'm catching all these little things that these pieces that I couldn't relate to when I was younger, but I actually relate to more now.
Yeah.
And it's fun experiencing that with my daughter, even though he doesn't know what's going on, but it's a moment for us too. So
yeah, the PF Flyers, yeah, man. So and I think that made PF Flyers like really go out. And they brought them back to the black ones.
I've been keeping my eyes out. I really want a pair of PF Flyers, but I'm going to try to stick to finding a pair of vintage that fit me, which has really been difficult. But I'm going to try to stick to my guns on that and not buy a new pair.
Right. It's crazy. I've told the story enough. I want to hear from Tara to tell a story about when we went to go see Peter Rabbit.
So yeah, we went to the movies with Alicia to see Peter Rabbit, and when Peter Rabbit came out with his little chore coat, this one was extremely hyped. And it was like, we got to make that. We got to make something that looks like that.
Yeah.
So we came home and he sketched up something that he liked that looks like that, and we went from there.
Yeah, I still have the drawing too, and I'll post it later on stories. But that was it. And so every piece that we've created, it started from just scratch, from pen and paper. We didn't even. It's not even a pencil. We didn't even erase it. It's just this is how it needs to look. And then we got into the dimensions and the measurements and stuff like that. But it's just inspiring. It's kind of like how the old cartoons were made. Like you're drawing the same thing over and over again with just a little bit of difference in order to see the movement. And that kind of stuck with us really with moving in your denim, breaking it in, and that's why we decided just everything needs to start off raw. So
yeah, it looks like Eric was fine, I think.
You know what he say? Is he? Yep. So New York, NYC is less transient than most other big cities. Having people who have roots here makes it easier for New York denim hangs to establish. Yeah, a community for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. And we've been in New York a lot, and New York actually was the first stop for our denim education before we went to LA.
Okay.
And so we went, and it was
he tricked me.
I did trick her. I tricked her because we went there. I was like, all right, so we got to go pick up some samples, some markers. It's not that big. Like, we're gonna go hang out. We're gonna go shopping.
First of all, let me say this. I was brand new to anything that had to do with denim, fashion, anything. And he says markers. I'm thinking, oh, Crayola. Okay.
You're like, I can run down the street. I can go to the dollar store and pick those
up. Right. Like, we don't have to go to New York for that.
Right.
I was wrong.
But we took a bus up there, too. We took a bus, and we got a hotel right in Times Square, the Doubletree, right in Times Square, which is perfect, right? To make sure that the wife was good, could take her shopping before we started to do business. Man, we went to go get these markers, and they were huge rolls of paper. Like, I didn't think that I didn't know. Like, she's like, "What are we gonna do with that?" And I said, "We're gonna carry him home because we paid for him." So, like. And it was horrible, man. It was horrible.
It was raining.
It was raining out. We had to take a taxi. The markers were sticking out of the taxi. It was crazy, man. But it was awesome.
You guys were in D.C. at the time, right? So you took a train up from D.C.
Yeah. We took New York to D.C., NY to D.C. That bus, because it was awesome. And say all that to say, like these stories that we have, and I know it's the same thing for you and Carol, especially with everything that's going on with DC Denim Hangs. These stories kind of make what it is that you're doing today. And without these stories, a brand, a community, it can't be established, because I think trial and error is the best teacher, aside from education of a mentor that's going to show you the ropes, if you will. You know what I mean?
Well, not only the sweats behind carrying those rolls got us pretty far. Like, I mean, that was the initial process, and we're here now.
Yeah.
Not in New York carrying big rolls of paper.
It's awesome, man.
So, there's a story behind everything.
Where are you both from originally?
I'm from Indiana.
Okay.
And I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And we've told the story a lot. We met in Iraq. We met in the Army, and it's just been. It's been love ever since then. I mean, we got married in the area. We got married in Maryland, Columbia, Maryland.
Okay.
In 2014. So that's why DC is always going to be forever in our hearts with the Army, with our marriage. Our daughter was born in Virginia. The brand, the people that we've met there, we've still continued to build relationships. I mean, from the post we did today, I mean, the collaboration with the Levi's Type 1 jacket, our first stockist, and also our first pop-up, which was crazy, in Maquetto. And no one knew who we were. It was just mad support. And we sold a lot of denim that day. It was crazy. And it all shouts out to Maquetto, Dom, and Ty for really, they curated that whole thing for us. And so...
I mean, the community is really the coolest part. I mean, you can buy, as you said, the community and the stories, because you can buy clothes anywhere. You can wear whatever. You can spend as little as you want or as much as you want. But it's the people you meet and the time you spend and the kind of the memories you create. I mean, my first pair of raw selvage weren't anything to to write home about, but I wore them, I think, the entire time we were at the hospital when Margot was being born, right? So
Wow.
through the labor, and then over the next, the 2 nights that we slept there or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's memories in that, right? And then, using sort of denim and vintage and that the sort of the style community to meet people and to build relationships. Natalie and I are really close now from the first hang, and then said Emily and I chat a lot, and so it's really exciting to sort of feel like you have a network, not just to get together with, but you bounce ideas off of and commiserate with and all that good stuff. And so, that's really what it's all about.
Right.
It could be anything, right? I mean, people get together and they get excited and they nerd out and they build community around anything. It just, for me, it happened to be my connection to vintage that led to denim, that led to the hangs is all. So
that's dope, man. That's dope. So is Carol's questions for you. Are you into the vintage denim thing? Because we're gonna start talking about women's wear, and I know. I mean, I know
relocating
Natalie and Emily are, and
a little bit again. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't think this through. Sorry, while she's answering, yeah, I'm in my shop down.
So you're in your vintage shop. Yes, women's. I have been vicariously. That's awesome. Well, your husband's froze right now. So right while he's froze.
That's not a good look.
So what we have 2 more questions. So what like how much wear have you put into that denim? Are you talking? Your mouth's moving. Is he on mute? Carol, your husband needs you. I don't really have a choice. That's what this one says.
I don't.
But where was I going? Oh, the denim that you have. Okay, that your daughter was born in, right? The denim that you wore. Like, what do they look like now? Coming through. Oh! So we lost him.
He'll be back.
We lost Mike. So we just want to hear about what his denim looks like. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. It's awesome. It is awesome, Carol. It's awesome. And that's what Tara says. It's awesome.
No, I don't, Carol.
She says it's awesome. No, what's the cliffhanger? Oh, yeah. I want to know how his denim is fitting. Where is he at? Okay.
Are we
All
go?
right, here we go.
I don't know what happened, and I couldn't hear you. And so I was trying to problem solve it, and it didn't work, so I just jumped off.
That's Holly right there. Hey, Holly.
The jeans from Margot's birth is the last I heard. How do they look?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, they're faded and worn, and they're looking close to being busted out. And I don't actually, the day was such a haze, I can't tell you how messy they did or didn't get in the room. But they're still around. I can't imagine at this point ever moving on from those. It's so funny how, I get that pair and I'm excited about it, but it certainly wasn't like, wouldn't be like my dream pair of jeans, but I'm sure I'll never get rid of them now. I'll patch them together and hold them together for as long as they'll last, just because of that experience I had in them.
Right. On Instagram, Swiss Denim Freak,
Mm-hmm.
He kind of manages a museum of denim.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about you know, putting pieces up there, and he was like, "Yeah, just, you know, send me whatever piece you know we could put in the museum." And it's kind of hard to let something go like that your daughter was born in. I did the same thing, like mine that I've been wearing for almost 5 years. Our daughter was born. I had those on, and it's just, you know, it's just crazy, you know. What did you decide? Oh,
That's one of the questions.
oh, why did you decide to start? Yeah, go ahead. Eric.
Yeah, we chatted about it a little bit, but the short version, Eric, is just that I moved to. I just didn't know anybody. I didn't have a network of people out here, and you know, I sort of used my love for vintage, which turned into a you know, an enthusiasm for denim. I used that to kind of build a community, so that, you know, so that I could meet people and I could have connections, and then so they could also share in that same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. And then, you know, shout out to all the denim hangs everywhere.
Mm-hmm. A lot popped up. Chicago popped up right after we got going, and you know, there's one in the southeast. It seems like
right
down in Georgia and Carolinas. And
what up, Uncle Lukey? What up, Shane? Yeah, and you know, it's awesome to see everything that everyone's doing. The UK, LA, it's just great because this community is growing, and they're growing in their little niches, and you see just the individuality of that geographical area, you know, and it's cool. It's really cool. So
the most exciting things about, you know, at least outside of family, immediate family, kind of being in this area, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we might even come back to DC. I mean, who knows? So for someone who is just getting into denim or vintage, what are some basics or good places to start? That's for you, Mike.
No, I'm going to let you take the denim, but then I'll take the vintage.
Okay. All right.
You start with the denim.
Okay. I mean, a good place to start is online, really. I mean, especially now, you can't go anywhere. You can't visit shops. And so a lot of brands or businesses or men's shops, they have the capability to be able to communicate how these fit. They do Instagram Live. They do stories. They have reviews. And I think by putting polls out there, you're able to get kind of a feel for what other men or women like, and that can give you a good starting point. And then you just have to ask yourself questions like, do I want stretch? Do I want raw? Do I want American made? Do I want Japanese made? I can just go to Levi's. I can just go to the Gap. But do I want to know the story behind the person making my denim? So those are questions that you have to answer yourself before you start your denim journey. And either way is going to be great. But the thing is, and Ramel talked about this a few weeks ago, you want your denim to be personalized to you. So you take your time in searching and researching for the denim that you want, whether it's a jacket or it's pants. So that's where I would start. Those are the basics. Yeah, and you don't want to get denim. And Tara has this problem. So she has very long legs, and so there's
and
not.
Skinny.
Yeah, and her ankles are like this, right? And so her getting denim that fit her the way she wants to is crazy. And women's raw denim is very hard to find. Mm-hmm. Good women's raw denim. Okay. So Emily said,
yeah, and that was the person that.
Oh yeah, Natalie, and that's a good point. Don't be afraid. A lot of women wear men's.
Yeah.
You know, for now, until Tara here launches the women's wear for CMBD, and we tackle kind of the need and the niche that has been unmet, you know, for women. Tall, short.
Yeah, you gotta talk. Already planning on this, but you got to talk to Natalie about Natalie.
Oh yeah.
Natalie and I chat a lot about it, and that's definitely not my area of expertise. You have to, you've got to talk to Natalie about that. Yeah, I would say. I'm trying to see what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
And the person who asked that question was Brandy. Brandy, it's good to see you. We chat. I'm glad you're listening. So,
Yeah, hey
And as
Brandon,
far
reach out to us
so
and we can give you some more guidance. Shoot us an email. I'll put it in the chat, info@CharlesMillerBrand, and then we'll be able to just help you and then get you situated.
no.
Okay, man. On you, Mike. Sorry, everybody. I'm up in your face.
No, that's all right. I've been all over the place trying to make sure my phone doesn't shut off. So yeah, I want to kind of build on just something you said before I talk about vintage, and I think it's just the best place to start is just figuring out kind of is this sounds so silly because it's clothes, but I think the first place to start is just like understanding what your values are and what you're really interested in, right? Because you can stuff anywhere, but if you really dig into what you value and what you're passionate about and what you're interested, start from there. There's a good raw denim or selvage denim or neither of those things, but that makes most sense to you. And this is something we all talk about a lot, but I think one of the things that kind of got me into the story that a pair tells when you just beat the hell out of them and you wear them all the time. Because they really sort of become that roadmap that only, that just kind of shows the progression of you, and that'll only be, it's true to you and nobody else. And I think that's something really worth taking the time to consider when you're getting a pair, not just and all that, but who are you getting it from, and how are you going to wear it, and what story do you want it to tell, and I think that'd be my 2 cents on denim. But yeah, reach out to them, Brandy, because they're way better with the denim side of things. Someone just getting into vintage, it's kind of the same story. It's just what you're interested in. So for me, the whole vintage thing always started when I grew up in Missouri, and I was really, really, really close to my grandparents. And they live down in southeast Missouri in what's called the Boot Heel. So the lower south, the most southeastern corner of Missouri has a little piece that juts out that looks like the heel of a cowboy boot. And that's where they're from. So I used to go spend parts and pieces of summers with them. And they're really, really woodsy people. It didn't have a lot, but I always really dug how the way they worked, and I really liked the way my grandpa dressed. It was always just like a pair of jeans, and he was a really, really big guy. So feet button shirt, and it was always short sleeves, and his big old tattoo on his arm, and always dirt and grease under his nails, and all. So I think when I moved out here and I started tinkering around with vintage, is a lot of that I didn't realize it at the time, but when I started kind of reflecting on it and writing about it a little bit recently, I think I realized that me getting into vintage really probably more me trying to connect with home when I was away from home more than anything else. I'd go find all these things that reminded me a lot of growing up and being around them and being around kind of Western people. And so I think when you're looking for vintage, I think again it's kind of looking at what things interest you, what do you connect with, because the thing that's most excited about vintage is either learning the stories of what you found, or if you can't, just imagining through look like the kind of condition they're in and the labels and things like that. It's kind of creating a story in your mind about where it came from. So it's kind of taking a second to think about what's important to you, what pieces of history you're interested in, what where's your family from originally, or what kind of did they do. And that's usually where you'll start to connect with good vintage and start to find some of those things. It takes a lot of time to identify things. It takes a lot of digging through junk to find the good stuff, search on things that you've never seen before. It's all kind of learning where things came from, and then sort of saving them, and what you can wear and what you can enjoy, you do, and what for me, what I don't, I sell to people who can enjoy them more than I can, or who connect with them in a way that I can't. So.
Right. Awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Sorry.
We're on the phone. You and I are kindred spirits on this. We're gonna give everyone a seizure before the end of this thing.
It is crazy. I'm sorry, everybody. Let me fix this thing. All right. I think. No, we're not good. Hold on. All right. Yeah. Okay. Tara just told me to hold it. Yeah, because we're almost done.
As he might.
What? Oh, Tara, that's your question right there. That's your
What?
Eric.
Oh yeah, Eric. So the calf socks thing.
It's way better like this.
Seriously?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Seriously.
Yeah, it's way
I
better.
already said nix the tripod. You know what? Anyway. So Eric, the calf socks thing. I've been trying to figure that out this whole time that I've known him. I mean, we were in Iraq and it'll be 120 degrees and he still chooses to wear socks to his nipples, is what I always told him. So I even buy him packs of ankle socks. But today he actually has a pair of ankle socks on.
I got ankle socks on.
To my surprise.
Ankle socks.
But yeah, all year round he chooses to wear these long socks even when it's 1,000,000 degrees outside. So I don't know.
It's a thing.
I'm actually with you on that. So
Really?
I wear
Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike.
I wear pretty thick, tall socks pretty much every day, and I have to wear pants to work. I can wear jeans, right, which is great. But even in the summer, because I do wear boots every day, sneakers or loafers or anything like that, I throw on a pretty big, thick pair of socks with my boots. Just the most comfortable thing. So
yeah, it's the most comfortable thing. You see, everybody wants to wear nipple socks now.
They make my legs itch. So
yeah, hashtag nipple socks is the new
hashtag nipple socks.
That trend.
yeah, nipple socks.
That's awesome, man. What else did it say? Okay, shout out in Maryland. Hey, man, so the last question, we're not gonna hold you long. Is no one wants nipple socks? Yes, we do. Okay. Yes, we do.
No,
hey, Big Mike, I'm gonna send you some nipple socks. Okay.
Big Mike, I will make sure they don't go in the middle.
I'm gonna send you some with like the what were they called with the colors on it?
Oh gosh, with the stripes at the top.
Yeah, I want some of those this summer. Yeah.
You don't. It's just that he doesn't realize he likes him yet. That's the thing. Everyone thinks they don't.
Yeah. Until they wear them, and it's awesome. So yeah, skinny, big legs don't even matter.
I'm just gonna go through and cut all of the nipple socks and make them ankle socks, and then he's just gonna put them on and freak out.
Save me, Tara.
I'm trying, Big Mike.
Oh man, yes, man, ringer socks or what they call dingers or something like that. Was that what they were called back in the day?
You definitely made that up.
I thought it was dingers. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So what's next for you, Mike? Tell us what's next for you. What's next for DC Denim Hangs, especially now with COVID going on. And how's Carol going to inspire you to create something dope?
Drive her crazy. I'm sick of all my crap all over the place. But I think for
excuse me, we're talking.
I think for as far as what's next for the hangs, I mean, I'll be honest, I've been really so I work from home and we've got the baby and I'm running a vintage shop and I've really been slacking with the denim. But what I need to do and what we'll look to do is have a virtual hang. And, we'll try to get all the DC crew on, welcome, very similar to what we did, when we were invited to hang with the New York crew. We'll have some sort of structured thing going on and I'll get to chat and everyone's welcome even outside of the DC hang for sure. As far as what's next for me, man, a lot of it's just up in the air. With COVID, we don't know when we're going to return to work, and I mean, we're working, but when we get to return physically to work, so a lot of it's just taking every day and appreciating what we do have, right? So we have our health, and we get to work, and we have our kid, and and I've got a lot of my wife's patient enough with me to kind of let me take her around and enjoy all my all my nerdy projects in my shop in the basement. And so next, just kind of keep pushing and meet
Ooh.
people and keep connecting and staying safe for sure.
That's a good idea, Eric. Make that happen. Y'all gotta make that happen.
Far, we should just meet halfway.
Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be real good. Yeah, we might even. Well, I don't know if we can come. But we'll have to figure that out. I mean, our next station might be in DC. So who knows? So
yeah, I'll get a
rack nipples.
I'll have to get maybe I'll rent a larger van and I'll pile some of the DC crew in and we'll come up road trip.
Yeah.
After calm down.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, road trip. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, and any last things to say to the community? We just appreciate your time. It's awesome to just hear your thoughts and your inspiration behind everything. Meet your wife. It's great, and thank you for being my brother in nipple socks.
Yeah, nipple socks.
Yeah,
no, I just want to thank you guys. Giving me the opportunity to chat. I'm not the I guess like the denim OG, and I don't have I'm not the guy with the biggest following and all that. But what I really, really like and am passionate about, and what I do full time for my job is building community and making connections with people. And so what I'd say is, if you're interested in exploring, actually, I was chatting with a guy the other day on Instagram, actually the last couple of days, who's really, he admitted, hey, I'm pretty new to the whole denim thing and heritage wear and rugged wear and boots and stuff. But I just wanted to reach out and connect. And if you're kind of into any of this or have questions about it or just looking for a way to get involved with the community in any way, I just encourage you to reach out. It's not as funny as it's not as pretentious as it seems. I think sometimes through the pictures that you see on Instagram, it can seem daunting, but everyone I've ever met through the community has been really, really cool, really welcoming, and always open for a chat. And so if you're out there and you're kind of thinking about dipping your toe in the water but aren't sure where to start, just reach out to your favorite person that you follow. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a response from someone pretty warm, who is willing to kind of bring you into the fold and answer questions you might have. And if it's you're listening, it's happy for it to be me, or I'm sure Charles and Tara. I'm sure you guys are more than happy when people reach out to you. So
yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate everyone on. Appreciate the engagement. It's been awesome. Everybody's pretty rad. So thanks everyone. And we'll shout out. So tonight, maybe tomorrow, we're gonna post all of these videos on YouTube. So that way,
awesome.
People can just listen to the conversation over and over again, and maybe gain something from it. That was our goal initially. We've only been able to post 1 on YouTube so far, so we have like 6 to post now, or 5. And so we'll be doing that, and then we'll shoot out the link. But good talking to you, Mike. Appreciate you.
I'll say if anyone does want to reach out to me, they feel free to do so through the DC hangs. But I'll also put kind of my personal handle in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me that way too if you'd prefer. And I've seen a few of your guys' episodes when they get up on YouTube. I'm excited to go and I'll watch them. So I'll binge. Since we got all this time at home, I'll be excited to catch up on all of it.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys. Stay safe and happy and healthy, and we'll chat again soon.
All right. Same to you, man.
Take care.
All right, everyone.
Bye.
Yo, this is so